Hello everyone, I have here the LEGO Star Wars Ghost from the Ahsoka series on Disney Plus, not from Rebels. This cost me $160 US, and it came with 1,394 pieces, which I did assemble live over on my Twitch channel. The set comes with 4 minifigures plus Chopper, and we'll look at those closer later on. On first inspection, this ship looks good to me. It's also nice and sizable. It's not particularly smaller than the original was, but it's much better detailed. It takes advantage of a bunch of pieces that were not available when the first one came out and uses them to good effect, including different shapes of wedge plates. A lot of the parts that you see, well, at least some of the parts that you see here used along kind of the belt there, inverted. Strangely, yeah, they went with the blue color for the exhaust, which doesn't make sense. I don't know where that information came from. Was that another Disney mess up, you know, giving bad art to LEGO? It's nice to get the opal, the iridescent color there, but it should have been orange, right? Like all the depictions, there have been a number of different depictions of the Ghost by now, and all of them show orange exhaust. But other than that, yes, you do have the Phantom 2 that's built in here. We'll be looking at that individually as well. Of course, that can come out, but it's really nicely integrated in there, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be with compromises for size. Just generally, you can definitely, when you get down to this lower angle, you can definitely see some unfinished areas down here. At least we don't see any really weird colors sticking out, but we do see some Technic bricks that are not fully covered up. But for the most part, and from most angles, this is very presentable. It benefits a lot from the newer color of Trans Black, a proper Trans Black compared to the old Trans Brown. Nice greebling down in here. This has prints on it, and the prints are decent. It's not full white, but pretty close to white. This up here, unfortunately, is a sticker. That sticker was a pain in the butt to get aligned right because there's a tremendous gap on either side. Like, it doesn't come down to the edge of the piece, but once I got it on there, at least the match is kind of decent between the off-whites here and here. Definitely did not enjoy that one. Would have preferred a print by a long shot there. And I'm not super against stickers, especially ones that just go along one simple axis, but that one was a pain. Stickers used in here, but most of the detail that you see on the surface of this thing is accomplished with genuine building, you know, actual pieces, which is nice. It's bright and it's vibrant. It stands out. It feels very clean. Does it feel too clean? Maybe. But I don't know, it is a LEGO thing. It is a toy after all. I like the presentation here. We lose with this version. We lose the ability to rotate the turret. So this turret's able to go up and down only. It's not able to spin around the way that it's integrated in there. I'll show you removing all the panels and everything. The airlocks are done nicely here. The almost total lack of gap right in here and then back here. Like all that stuff is so good. A little bit of gap here, but I mean, a little bit of gap right there. So much of this, though, is nice and tight the way that it fits together. It feels very, very comfortable. It feels purpose-built. There's not a lot of waste in the build process. Good use of these particular hard tires here. A little bit of greebling around the engines as well. The Phantom fits in all nice and smooth. Again, I'll pull that out to show you that individually. You know, this extra little greebling on the inside and stuff. There's a lot of good stuff. You cannot retract the gear on this, but I think that's fine for its size and everything. And access to the interior is pretty easy. This can fold down to get a little peek inside, but more importantly, also this can fold up to get a peek inside, but you can pull all of this out once again to get easy access to the gunner's position there. And I love the build for that yoke, the gunning yoke. Oh my gosh. Using the Inquisitor's hilt, it's so good. So good. This assembly, though, I will say, this one's a little bit fragile. Fragile. You can kind of see how it would be fragile with just how thin it is all around the edge. So a little bit of compromise there. I think it's okay, but you do need to be a little bit careful. And I myself kind of crushed this a little bit putting it together. And while I was struggling with it, somebody else in Twitch chat said they had the exact same problem. Just watch out for that. It's not a big deal, but yeah. It's the thing that I thought I would point out, but it is convenient to get access here. You can have the short-legged figure there. You can also have a regular figure that's sitting down, and then with this removed, you get easy access to the single seat for the pilot. You know, and this also looks pretty good, pretty proper, and you know, well situated there. Before looking farther inside though, I do want to show you the one little feature down here. You can push from either side to move the forward gun back and forth, and when you do that, it would fire the spring-loaded shooters here. You can see 1 and 2 there. I don't recommend leaving bolts in those because this has a hair trigger response. You touch it a little bit and it'll fire one of those bolts off. And here's what the whole thing looks like from the underside. I'm not at all happy with this gap. That gap I think should have been plugged. The others, I can be okay with, given that you really have to be looking at this from the underside. Most of the time, you are not going to be looking at it from the underside. But that one does bug me because I can see it pretty clearly if it's just on a shelf that's anywhere near eye level. These side ramps come down. There's not a whole lot you can do with them. They're just anti-stud, so you cannot put figures, properly standing on them, but both sides do come down and they give you the suggestion of direct access to the interior. All of this comes off as one single assembly, and you can leave the Phantom in place when you do this. So you've got your gunner's emplacement position there, or seat. This one's a little bit awkward to bring up because it can retract farther in. There's no lip to hold on to, so you have to wedge it from back here or push from underneath, but there are no studs to hold the figure in place there, which lets them kind of roll around a little bit, but the canopy will mostly hold the head in place, and it prevents the legs from getting stuck down there. So I think this is a fine compromise. And then this actually has interior space and a decent amount of it. You can actually see inside of there. It would have been nice to be able to pull up a couple more of these side panels relatively easily, but you can see the suggestion of a console down in there, just a printed piece. Got the sticker for the airlock, little caution bit over there. Just some random detailing. No major bed or seating area particularly. Figures are going to want to stand up around here just to have the most efficient use of the space. You got a kitchen sink over here. A lot of people have made a big deal about that. I don't get what that's all about, but yeah, it's a sink. And inside of here, you just have a fruit that's been built up with a few pieces to make an interesting shape. I do like the stairs, even though they're very subtle over there. It just really adds to the believability of this space, I think. Now the Phantom 2, this miniature version, is mostly attached with a single stud, but then it also has a guiding axle. So this little brown bit right here goes into the base, and then the stud is what really holds it down. It's secure enough without being a pain to remove it. This is a very small build. It's actually the first thing that you build in the set. It's pretty nice though. It's a very efficient build for its size to be able to fit. I mean, look at how this opens up here. Gets you easy access in there. And I've even got this person sitting farther forward than they need to be, simply because it's a little bit more convenient. You could possibly even find a way to put 2 figures in there, I think, with these legs all the way up. I think it doesn't have to lean all the way back. Yeah, right about there. That's as far as they have to lean back. So you could put a small figure, I think, like a Grogu type of figure back in there. But yeah, it's pretty smooth. You can also put Jason in there with his non-movable legs. He's gonna have to lay down all the way. But there's a suggestion of a console here even that you can see through the main canopy. These gaps are unfortunate. It's the worst thing about it, the fact that it has a very stubby nose, but I don't know, for its size, this kind of works for me. The only thing I really like this transition to the sail, to the vertical fin. The only thing that I don't like about this is that these side bits can fall off relatively easily. They just don't have great attachment, great clutch power, and that's mostly because of these 1 by 2 by 1 2/3 snot bricks, or studs on the side bricks, which are fully jumpered there, so they have a little bit less of that good clutch power. And you also have a little bit of storage at the back. You got a couple things back here, a blaster and a pair of binoculars. With the Phantom removed, this is what the Ghost looks like. So still pretty good from most angles, but if you come back here, you can definitely see that there's something serious missing, and there are these deep gaps here that they just didn't fill up. I think they could have just used some plates to cover up that space a little bit, just to block your view of it. Here are the minifigs Hera, her and Kanan's son Jason, and Chopper. This Hera figure looks really good to me. I think it makes for a respectable Legoification of the live action character, but also still looks quite a bit like the Rebels character. You know, it's updated a lot, but it just fits into either universe, I think, in this Lego form. I like the print back here. The print on the back of the torso isn't the most opaque, but all in all, it's pretty good. The Jason figure is also pretty good, specifically for a representation of the live action character, with the exception of obviously the hair. Something went wrong there. Something was missed in, I don't know if it was translation. I'm assuming it was Disney's fault. You know, they just didn't give a picture of this character in live action form that was accurate. And this is the result. We just have just plain wrong colored hair. That's it. Just wrong. That actually works pretty well too. I mean, I like everything about this headgear piece, honestly. Chopper is interesting. Pretty good printing on it, front and back. I like the back printing. Switching to the white for the main body works. Switching from dark orange of the old one to orange for the head works well enough to me. And then you've also got the dish on top now. What we've lost is printing on the side of the head. Previously, that dome was printed all the way around. So we've lost side printing, gained back printing. To me, that's a fine trade-off. I prefer having the back printing to the sides. Here, in this case, I would prefer by far to have both. You know, given the choice, you know, charge an extra 10 cents in the budget for the set, whatever it costs to get it, you know, to get both. And then you're talking about having a nice premium droid figure. But this one is pretty good for what it is, but there is a trade-off there. And then we have First Officer Hawkins and Lieutenant Beta with a Y in it. The Mon Cal there looks very good with the good printing with the two main colors added for color blocking. Around the top of the mouth, around the lip isn't perfect, but the eyes are done very well. Opacity of the white down here on the legs isn't great, but overall it's okay. It's just generally a sharp looking figure. And then this figure here, it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty accurate as well. Obviously no alternate face, which completely makes sense, but yeah, it works. Both of these are fine to me. Lastly, these are the leftover pieces. Nice to get that piece right there in brown. More colors of all these useful small things. And then looking at the sticker sheets, here's one. Clear backed, all rectangular, and here's one more. So this is for the Ghost, and this is for the Phantom, basically. Maybe they were actually considering having those as separate sets at one point, but also maybe it's just because they had a different color scheme that was used, a different palette used between these two. Again, the price of this was $160 US, 160. For some reason, it's 170 euros. That's not okay. It's 150 pounds UK, all right. And then $210 Canadian, which is approximately a little less than $155 US at current conversion rates. And again, it's 1,394 pieces, just short of 1,400 pieces. Value is not great here, but at least the Ghost itself, the build itself, is very, very good, very, very good. So that's an excellent starting point for building value, you know. But for $160, I would like to see something the size of a Millennium Falcon. Where's my Millennium Falcon? It's not here now. I wanted to quickly glance at it, but I remember its size, and it's, you know, the Falcon's a bit bigger than this. Not in universe, but the most recent model. The interior space, the use of space here is good. The building techniques, all that is good. And yes, this does have the whole other ship, but it's small. But you know, that does have to be considered. What is here is mostly good. I do miss the turning turret on the top because that was super, super fun. You know, just a nice feature. A little bit of gapping around the sides, around the underside, especially that gap right there. It just bugs me. But all in all, for the most part, this is enjoyable to put together and it looks good to have. I'm happy to have it, and it feels good even to hold it. The worst thing about this set is the fact that it does not come with a full Rebels crew, according to a lot of folks out there, and that's simply because it's not a Rebels set. You know, the Rebels Ghost came out in 2014, so almost 9 years ago. So folks who missed it. You know, they weren't going to make a Rebels Ghost in 2023. It was a cartoon show. You know, not a primary one. Yeah, it was good. It had a lot of value. We're building on that today with, you know, current extensions to canon, but this is from Ahsoka. This is an Ahsoka series set, so it's going to have Ahsoka series related figures. The mistake with Jacen, I don't know what happened with that. At least it's just one piece. It's weird, but at least it's just one piece. Other than that, a little bit of gapping under here, especially this gap right here, not super happy with. And this sticker I was not happy with at all. Speaking of that sticker, hey, one more thing to mention there. On the box, that sticker looks fully opaque. It looks white. I'm not all right with that. If Lego is going to accept for themselves that they are not going to even try to be the highest quality plastic studded brick-based construction system and manufacturer on the planet, if they're not even going to try, which is what it seems like to me right now, they're consciously lowering their own bar. They have a right to. They have a right to do that. And then we can decide if we want to continue to support them or to what degree. But advertising should be accurate. So if they're consistently always going to have stickers on canopies that are, you know, if they're supposed to be white, they're actually gray, translucent, that needs to be shown here. This just looks better, looks distinctly better than what I actually get. So more consistent truth in advertising in that sense, I think needs to be baked into the ethos at Lego. I don't know where that decision needs to come from. I feel like it needs to probably come from fairly high up, because the production design team is doing their work, package design. They're doing their job of what they're supposed to do, showing what it's supposed to look like. That's what they're supposed to do. So the decision needs to come from higher up to be more accurate and honest in all packaging and all marketing materials. But overall, I'm definitely happy with this. I'm glad that we got another Ghost. I think it's a worthy one. I wish it was a bit cheaper. I would love to see this personally at about 130. That's where I'm at with it. Is that reasonable to ask for today? Probably not. Lego's expensive. Everything's expensive now. But that's what I would like to see. If you can get it at a discount, fantastic. Thank you for watching though. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll talk to you again soon.